beautifuls, this is Aromie here, and we are back with That Which Binds Us. We are here, awkwardly staring at Eva-Lise for way too freaking long. So how was your day? Eva sighs. Oh boy. Well, today we had a new shipment of winter clothes, so I had to bring those boxes from the back to get them ready to put on the shelves. Of course, there's still clothes on said shelves, so I had to move all of those onto the clearance racks, or other shelves, just somewhere off to the side. And with Black Friday soon, most of it will be on clearance anyway, which means more clothes gone. So, we'll have to stock the shelves 100 more times before Christmas. She sighs, rotating her wrists a bit. Your day sounded a lot better. You could always see for yourself. What, pretend to be your secretary for a day? How does a paycheck and three full course meals sound? 3, that'd be a long work day. I'd make it worth your while. Alright, I'm a bit interested. What does your typical day look like? Well, I get up around 8, shower, eat, all that, and then around 9 I leave my apartment. After some traffic, I get to my office, and by 9:30 I'm open for business until around 6 or so. Just depends on what's needed for the day. Like today, huh? Like today. Sometimes I got clients who make me stay a little later, or need to come by at a later time. It just depends on the day. How often do you get other customers? Bail bond clients daily. Other clients about once, sometimes twice or thrice a week. It's usually once a week. Sorry, I need a burp. I keep drinking water because my throat is hurting so bad. But there are some outlier weeks. Of course. What did the last other client want besides the one from today? Not much. She was about 5'3", brown hair, did not like her boss. Oh, I think her name was Marlicia? Get a lot of girls like me? In looks, yes. In mind, no. She had a boss who kept getting too close and she wanted out. Originally, she came in just to learn a bit more before going through with it. Her plan was to make him forget about her after she turned in her resignation, but I talked her into waiting to turn in her resignation afterwards. Why? Well, if you hadn't stormed out the other day, I would have told you to watch the news as a demonstration. To watch him make a fool of himself. She went into work as usual the day after she went through with it. She talked to her coworkers and even did a bit of work. During her lunch break, it was finally time. She went to turn in her letter of resignation while he was with a few colleagues. Suffice to say, it didn't go well for him. The way she talked about him, I figured him for the boisterous type, but he was in disbelief instead. The boisterous type? What do you mean? Some people, especially middle-aged guys, get furious when confronted in this type of situation. It's not a normal situation at all, so everyone reacts differently. You know the whole everyone around you knows this person except you and claims that you've always known them? For some people, it's straight out of a horror movie. I've heard some people straight up go along with it all. They have absolutely no memory of the person, but everyone else does, so surely they're not the one at fault, right? I like to see a video of those sometimes. How do you know how he acted? Were you hiding behind the water cooler or something? No, she came back and told me. Oh, quite a few of my clients do that actually. They stop by a few days or a few weeks later telling me how it went. Same was for her. She came back a couple of days later telling me how he took it. Her old boss was in disbelief. His coworkers of course knew her, but he had no idea who she was and why she was resigning. At first he thought it was a joke, that some random woman thought it'd be funny to try to resign from a place she didn't work at. But then his colleagues started giving her words of encouragement, hoping for the best for her, and that she'd been great to work with. Great to work with? Yeah. So he figured it was an elaborate prank. They were all pulling on him that they were all in on. Of course, his coworkers didn't think it was that funny. One of them took her resignation while 2 others took him off to the side. I hear he's been put on antipsychotic meds. Meds he doesn't need. And he'll be off them soon enough after some therapy. But why? Uh-oh. Why not just leave him there, completely oblivious? Well, I thought it'd be funny. I don't think it's funny. I thought it ruined his reputation. Yeah, there you go. I thought it hurt his reputation. Maybe knock him down a few pegs off the ladder. You can't exactly have a man running part of a corporation who ups and forgets his own employees. It's a bit sad her complaints against him didn't do anything, but this would. She didn't stay long after that, but it seemed to have intended effect. All his colleagues kept taking second glances at him afterwards and started speaking to him slower than usual. Eva tilts her head a bit and then back. Okay, so maybe she doesn't quite approve of my way of dealing with this. She starts playing with the straw in her drink, looking down. Time for a subject change. How was your day? We technically already kind of went through that. Where do you want to go afterwards? Any ideas? I don't know. Hey, the conversation isn't going to end that quickly. Well, I hear this place has a beautiful scenic view on the upper floor. Sounds nice. Her straw knocks a few ice cubes against the side of the glass. Apparently, the clinking sound makes it more interesting than my words at the moment. Man, Eva is like such a jerk in his point of view. Like, Jesus. Was she always like this when we played her? There's like hair near my eyeball. We could go see it afterwards if you like. My bangs are frustrating me. I think I had to like trim them up again. Or something. Alright. A waitress comes over and hands us our food. Eva's dish is some sort of shrimp scampi pasta thing. The plate is covered in almost everything they have in the kitchen, and it smells great. Mine isn't half bad either, sorry. Though for these prices, I wouldn't expect less. We eat mostly in silence, it's fine by me. Though I'm content enough just sitting here. Finished already. Yeah, it's a lot more than one person can eat. How was yours? Pretty good. A bit too spicy, but still fine. Well, wanna head up to the overlook? Sure. We pay for the food. Well, she pays for it. After a couple minutes of arguing, which still means I pay for it, and go upstairs to the balcony. It's a large overlook on the side of the building, but only accessible to those paying to get into the restaurant. As such, it's a prime spot for tourists with a bit more cash to spend. Thankfully, though, the prime tourist season is already over. I've never personally seen the outlook before. I can't wait to see what she'll think of it. The sight is breathtaking, as is the chill in the air, of course, but I try to ignore that part and enjoy the view. From up here you can see for practically miles. The cars look tiny, blurry lights moving at a snail's pace, and the people are just walking dots. It's gorgeous, really. You think so? What? You don't? I do. What's with the sudden defensive thought? No reason. Maybe it'll make you stay on your toes around me. Or just smirks and shrugs it off. Is he always this cocky? Oh, now I'm in Evalise's point of view. I got confused. I was like, I'm a he. What? Because I thought it was in Idris's point of view. He walks over to the balcony edge and leans over, resting his hands on the bars. They seem to be regular handrails, but with a few additional bars added on afterwards. I don't want to think about why. What are you talking about? Instead, I look out at the view a bit more. You know what I've always wanted? What? One of those loft apartments that's really high up with a view of the whole city. That would be nice. I've even started saving up for one. Are you kidding? Those cost more per month than I make in a year. Yeah, I know. That's why I said I started saving, because it'll take me a few years before I can comfortably afford the rent. But it'd be great, especially living by myself. I tilt my head just a bit and look over at him, wondering what he means. Oh, come on. You don't ever get a bit lonely in an apartment all by yourself? Yeah, all the time. I guess. He keeps staring out at the skyline while talking. Don't you feel a little less lonely looking out right now? Well, yeah, because I'm standing here with you. You know, my dad didn't just up and die one day. He went through a few weeks of being in and out of the hospital before then, and was stuck in the hospital for a couple weeks before that day. Mom would spend a couple nights with him there, while I'd stay home and I'd go to school and take care of the house. I was in high school around that time. Then she'd come home, make sure the place wasn't a wreck, and let me spend the night with him. Let isn't really the correct term. I sleep on the couch and just be with him, while he was in and out of sleeping caused from the heavy medication. I was basically alone up there. There was only one small couch in the room, so when I spent the night there, my mom would have to stay at home. It was a long few weeks and a lonely few weeks, but he was on like the 12th floor of the hospital, so I had one comfort at least that night. He keeps staring out over the balcony. Thousands of lights everywhere are twinkling. Looking out from the window at night, I was able to see a view pretty similar to this. The nurses and doctors didn't really care about me. They had a patient to attend to, and I was just a visitor. But yet, despite all of that, I found it impossible to feel lonely after looking out the window for a bit. Have you ever done the same? He looks over at me, catching me a bit off guard. I would do the same if I had like a cityscape view. We're gonna say yes, to make him feel comfort. Yes, a few times. I like to look out and see all the pretty lights. He laughs a bit. Not quite what I meant, but they are beautiful, aren't they? Every night I'd stay there. I'd look out the window and just sit there in silence. It's already amazing to be able to see so much at one time, but to me it reminded me of how big the world really is. The hospital was a giant maze, one I had been slowly getting accustomed to. Sorry. Accustomed to as he stayed stretched on. I was able to find my way around when I wanted coffee or a snack. But the city, I thought I knew it, but then I stared out for a bit. It's enormous, and it's just one of many, many cities in just this state. And inside it is people. Thousands upon thousands of people I'll never meet, let alone talk to. But there are people nonetheless, people all leading different lives and having different goals. Where were they going? Who had they last talked to? Where did they live? What job did they have? The lights are dazzling and gorgeous, but sometimes we forget that there's a person behind all of those lights. I pick one light in particular and try to imagine who they were. Were they a cab driver doing late night pickups? A CEO of a multi-billion-dollar company? Maybe a bank teller? Towards the end, I spent more time with him. Mainly because we knew it was the end. I had even more time to spend realizing that I wasn't actually alone. Now when I say it all out loud, it sounds a bit pretentious, but we were all a little too impressionable at 15, right? I guess some things should stay in a 15-year-old's mind. I don't think so. I think that's a good mindset for like any age, to be honest, to realize that every person has their own route and you're just curious at what it is. He laughs it off with a small smirk and a bit of uncertainty in his face. If there's anything I hate, don't act like that. Huh? If that's something you still believe, then don't just pretend it is so. What, do you think I'm going to laugh at you or something because you prattled on about it? He scratches his neck while looking away from me. You know, when I was in high school, I wanted to make a big discovery. Hell yeah, let's go. Like finding the modern equivalent of the pyramids or something. Okay, wait. How do you just lose a pyramid? It was just an example. The sandstorm just blew a bunch of sand and hid the pyramids. That's now a dune. Dune? Is that what they call it? A sand dune? Yeah, I believe so. You know, something of huge significance. And what exactly would this modern equivalent of the pyramids be? Well, I don't know. I obviously never found anything because it was just a far-off dream. Anybody who's going into any type of research field always dreams of being the one to find that one big thing in their field. I guess I was the same. One of my history teachers once told me something I really liked. Scientists paved the way for the future, while historians repaved the way of the past. It stuck with me. That's a good quote. Of course, it's silly though to think I'd be the one to find that one life-changing thing. Why not? Isn't that what you told me to stop saying? To stop chiding myself for still believing something I believed in a decade ago. We stare out over the city for a while longer, taking it all in. The sound of some emergency vehicle goes off faintly below, and then is swallowed up by the rest of the noise. The entire city is humming from all of the people, all of the vehicles, all of the life. It's a chaotic but sort of calming hum, and within it I realize I understand what he was saying. There's always people surrounding us, always people moving around, always people doing stuff. They all have their own jobs, their own families, their own fears. And up here is accumulation of all of that. From space, you can't tell one country apart from another country, but up here, it's the perfect height to see the mass of a city while still being able to tell the individual gears that make it up. Sure, it's a pretty sight, but it's the people that make it a pretty sight. And with that pretty sight, it's impossible to feel completely alone. I look back at him. Thank you for taking me up here. Taking me by here? Or something like that? What are you thanking me for? You're the one who invited me to dinner. Just take the compliment, okay? Alright. Well, does that mean you've had enough sightseeing for the day? Yeah, I think so. Where to next then? Home, by myself. I've got to open tomorrow as well, so it's about my bedtime. Not much of a nightlife, huh? And what time do you go to bed? Do you want me to drive you back? Not really. Okay then, how about I walk you home and then call you sometime later? Alright, let's get going then. Does that mean it just leaves his car behind? We finally leave the diner and start walking towards my apartment. The night is cloudless, and for a few college students who pass us still young. A few bars with brightly lit signs are on the other side of the street, while this side remains a bit dark and quiet. It just has a hand in his pocket and another on his phone, looking at something. The screen light lands on his face, revealing a dull and bored expression. I always hate it when Sarah gets nosy and asks what I'm looking at on my phone, but I kind of want to know what he's looking at. Apparently I stared too long. He looks up and turns towards me. Sorry, I was just checking emails. Emails? From who? I meant it to sound more like you work alone. Who would send you emails? Not nagging like a mother. People? They're not all specifically addressed to me, if that's what you mean. Sometimes I get bored and subscribe to article sites for light reading. Oh, a lot less cooler than I thought. Who did you think I was getting emails from? I don't know. But this is where we're gonna end today's episode off. I assume you get emails of people wanting your knife or something. I don't freaking know. Anyway, thank you guys for watching today's episode. Stay beautiful, and I'll see you guys in the next one.
I still wonder next to